institute was founded more than 75 years ago with the idea of helping people help themselves. And our founder was dedicated to the idea of people had information that was from an independent source. In other words, it wasn't funded by the government, or it wasn't funded by any corporation, or funded by grants from family foundations and so forth, and that it was done in a scientific fashion. In other words, it was unbiased. The people would benefit from that, and that they would support that. And they have for over 75 years.
Now, your founder was United States Army Colonel E.C. Harwood. Could you give us some background on Colonel Harwood?
Well, Colonel was a fascinating man. He attended the United States Military Academy, and although his training was as an engineer, he became interested in economics around the time of the Great Depression. So he didn't find any satisfactory explanation, so he just started to read everything he could find about it and formed his own opinions about economics.
One of the things that I've spoken with a lot of adults that are of my generation and adults, younger, and they've said that they feel one of the misses in the American school system is they don't teach money management. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Research shows that although people have to make major financial decisions all throughout their life, whether they're going to go to school or buy a home or buy a car, that they need to be informed about personal financial matters, and they simply don't have as much knowledge and education in that field as they probably should.
Now, how can the American Institute of Economic Research help we'll say the average New Yorker or the average resident of Massachusetts or Vermont?
Well, we provide a number of publications across the full spectrum of personal financial matters. In other words, estate planning, how to buy a car, how to buy a home. We keep people appraised of where we are in the business cycle. We have books on how to invest and so forth. So we have a book across the full spectrum of financial issues that people are going to probably run into during their lifetime.
Now, are people allowed to visit your facility in Great Barrington and to meet with members of your staff for help?
Yes, we have a wonderful campus. It's about 100 acres, and we have a 20,000 square foot library. And our library, although it's not a public library, it's open to the public. And our researchers are there to help people that walk in the door, or chat with people that walk in the door, and often we have events that are open to the public.
Now, the American Institute of Economic Research, as you were mentioning, offers advice to people on money management and economics in general. The small business, more and more, is becoming the backbone of our nation's economy. Do you have any suggestions for someone who is considering starting a small business, or who was into the first or second year of their small business and saying, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it?
Well, the Institute was started in a room on the MIT campus during the Great Depression with $200. So if you have an idea and you believe in it, you can make it. And the Institute is now in its 77th year and doing better than ever.
Why do some people make it and others don't? Is it willpower or a whole bunch of other things?
Well, it's probably many things, but it's a solid idea, and then a commitment to that idea, and then convincing others that idea is valid. So, for example, our founder said, for integrity there is no substitute. So, in everything that we do, we keep that in the back of our mind. And I think these days the Institute thrives because people need information, plus they need to get it from a trustworthy source. So, in a sense, AIER is flourishing because of the ideals of our founder.
Now, it doesn't matter, I guess, what age you are if you want to start a business. For example, I understand that Colonel Sanders had retired from whatever his profession was and was bored, and used to make this great chicken for people that visited his house. And in his 70s, he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. Is that what you find no matter what age you can do it?
Some people start when they're young. In the end, I think when you have just this passion to go forward with whatever you're interested in. Some people get it very early, and some people might get it later in life.
This is a tough economic time, and you said that your organization was started during the Great Depression. Do you have any suggestions which might help business people or families get through these tough times?
Just make informed decisions. In other words, make sure that you know where you're getting your information from. Make informed decisions and commit to them. Life is a struggle from the very start, and I think the earlier you start thinking about your finances, the better off you are. In other words, that if you're going to buy a car, for example, we have a similar to this. We rank cars, and we, for example, recommend that you buy a used car and that is in good sound condition, and then you drive it into the ground, so that you're not walking around. If you do run into tough financial times, you don't have the albatross of an expensive car payment around your neck. Same with housing. We feel, for example, housing, everybody needs a place to live, of course, and that you buy a place that is comfortable and so forth, but don't think of your house as an investment. Think of it as consumption. So those kinds of things. So that
what do you mean by that? Because we have a house. Our house is paid for, and we've been able to use it at different times for collateral for something and then pay it back. Why wouldn't you consider it an investment?
Why, it can turn out that it appreciates in value, but we think it's best to think of it as consumption, and that way you won't buy too much house. And if you do run into job difficulties, or you own a business and the business turns down, again, that you just don't have the albatross of a huge mortgage around your neck.
That seems to be one of the biggest problems in our nation right now, in so many cities around the country, where people bought things they couldn't afford, which just blows my mind why they would do that. Right?
Well, that's exactly our point. Is that don't buy things that you can't afford. Live within your means.
Not to be caustic, but I mean, isn't that a duh?
Well, but in other words, that there's a whole bunch of people suffering from that malaise of what you might call a debt overhang. I know. And I would say the same thing goes with the college. In other words, that all else equal, find the best college that you can get into, that offers the programs that you want to pursue your career, and go there. You don't have to pick out the most pricey college.
What advice would you offer to someone in 2010 that has acquired tremendous credit card debt?
To cut the cards up first, and then the second thing is work and pay them off. Also, the more that you work, the less a chance that you are that you'll go out shopping and run up the balances again.
Are credit card companies, if you contact them, are they willing to negotiate a balance down?
We don't do that at AIER. We're not credit counselors.
I just wonder what you've heard.
I do understand that some credit counselors are effective in that, but I think you have to be very, very careful if you approach one of those credit counselors, because that they vary widely in what they can do, and some of them make wild claims that they haven't been able to live up to.